The cold call virus scam. This is a scam where an imposter, pretending to be from Microsoft, cold calls their victims, usually just going through a list of phone numbers, they could even have been obtained via the phone book, calling those people up and telling them that their computer has viruses. The social engineer alleges that as Microsoft, they've been notified that the victim has a virus and they're there to help them. Frequently, these scams are originating from the subcontinent and they're mounted against Western countries. I've received many in Australia. We see many others in the US, the UK, and indeed Europe as a whole. Countries outside the jurisdiction of where the scammers are based. So as a result of that, they also become very difficult to shut down. These scams all follow a similar sort of process to what I just outlined, and they begin by the social engineer calling up and claiming that the victim has viruses. They then go through a proof, and that's what we're going to look at in this module, followed by what they represent to be a fix of the issue, and eventually monetization, asking for payment for the services rendered. Now, all of this is a complete scam. There's no services of any value that are actually provided. And indeed, this is how we often see social engineering used, to mount scams. Certainly that's consistent with many of the emails we saw in the previous module. They're simply scams. But it's a very well-honed, repeatable scam. The perpetrators have done this over and over again, and they use the same social engineering techniques that we've been talking about already during this course. Because of the indiscriminate nature of this scam, they'll call anyone, including me. I had multiple calls from scammers attempting to convince me that my PC was infected, they needed to fix it, and then I needed to pay them money. So I set up a little test for them. This is a dedicated machine that I created just waiting for one of them to call me back and try to convince me that I had viruses on my PC. Now this is a very carefully constructed desktop environment. I airlocked my PC from anything else on my network, built up a brand new image, and littered the desktop with things that I thought might be enticing to the scammer. You'll see a bunch of files here which they could possibly be quite interested in, depending on how malicious and invasive of my privacy they want it to be. Now, granted, there is also an element of humour in this. I was curious to see if they would actually pick up on those cues, or if they were so focused on scamming the victim that they'd look right past that and simply proceed with the attack and attempt to ultimately elicit money out of me. I recorded this and posted it to my YouTube channel, and it's presently tracking at more than 1 million views. This is an enormously popular video. In fact, there are quite a number that I recorded. Not all of them suitable for reproduction in a Pluralsight course, but this one is actually perfect because it demonstrates all the things we've been talking about. So let's jump into it, and I'll start taking you through the scam and looking at the social engineering behaviors that make it so successful.